we are diving into our first game.
Indeed we are, and it is going to be on 2,000 atmospheres LE, which you can actually read for a reason we'll get into later on, I suppose. We're in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner. We, of course, have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of China. He's the only Zerg player in DreamHack China. He's going to be representing the Starved Camels, SSLT. He is Silky.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres LE, we have the Chinese Protoss player himself representing his brand new team, Dragon Phoenix Gaming DPG. It is Jieshi.
Light, I think I can finally understand Mandarin because I can read out the map name here in the bottom left-hand corner.
Like, Light, I can read.
It's translated to me.
My third eye has opened and it is all clear now. I have ascended. Oh god. But yes, we have moved over to the Asian server, which is of course the server which Korea resides in, as there were a couple of issues over on the Chinese client, on the Chinese server, and to bypass those issues, we have all come over here instead.
Yeah. A little bit of a neat life hack here. Well, it's specifically for issues with the Chinese server client, so I'm not sure how much of a life hack that really is.
It's a way to avoid the problem, not deal with the problem. We don't. Which is not the best way to go about things, but you know what? Sometimes it has to be done.
Quick fix. And speaking of quick fix, quick third coming up from Silky.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed it out. This is a very fast third base force. Unusually fast, to be honest. And we'll see what he's going to make use of this. Because of this fast third, part of me feels like, is he going to try and Ling Flood here with all this extra lava? We'll see, as Link Speed is already on the way, and we'll keep an eye on how many drones Silky works up towards, and, you know, it's possible that this just may be his preferred style of opening up.
Yeah, and we'll see if that's something that Jieshi can really take advantage of. Already, he did kind of force a bit of an natural base to come out from his Zerg opponent, so I was wondering if he wanted to go into Glaive for depths, but he actually opens up with Stargate.
Yeah, he does. So a pretty standard opener, all things considered, not really taking advantage of the building placements of Silky. And I mean, honestly, an added bonus of Silky going for a fast third base, it means that there's going to be like faster creep here in between the bases as well. So in case there were adepts, he would be able to defend a little bit easier. But this is what I was talking about, mate. There's a massive wave of Lings on the way. He's Link flooding. Let's go!
A whole lot of them. You know, there are certain scenarios where I was gonna say there are certain scenarios where you imagine that the Zerg players is getting a ton of Lings because they're really paranoid about, you know, adepts coming their way. But this is not one of them. Not when drones are being pulled. Not when Silky's trying to mineral walk and get us around on the adept over here that's blocking up the hole.
Yeah, unfortunately, these workers have not been seen. We need a wall off, a full wall off, and that is not going to happen. The drones will get past this. There will not be a wall behind this adept. The Lings are going to be able to break through and maybe flood in.
I'm loving the block coming up here, the body blocking coming up here with all of these drones. The Lings do bust on forward, take out a ton of drones. Thankfully, Jieshi did go for that Oracle, and that's going to help out a little bit, but it's going to run out of energy. Shield battery will get taken out immediately, and Silky is just reinforcing this with Ling after Ling after Ling.
Exactly, and as you said, this Oracle is now out of energy. It cannot help in the defense. There is one Stalker, and that will help in the DPS, but Silky is looking to take down the Cybercore. That means no more Stalkers. Warp Gate did just finish, though, just barely in time, so Jieshi will be able to warp in another wave of units.
Yeah, can Jieshi actually survive this? He may be able to. Now, it's going to be a lot more difficult for him now that, you know, he can't warp in Stalkers or Adepts. It's only Zealots available to him, and Oracles, I suppose. But maybe?
I mean, with a second Oracle, yeah, 100%. He is going to hold on. Backup Cybercore is on the way. We have triple pylons here to make sure everything stays powered. What's interesting is that Silky, again, is not running up behind this. He is 100% all in, 120, 50, 200% all in. He needs to end the game.
And I don't think he will. Not with the shield battery, not with... Oh, gosh. Lings get a decent surround on some of these zealots, but nowhere near enough of them. Jieshi survives by the skin of his teeth, and he takes game number 1.
Oh my god. GG, well played. Silky with an interesting opener. Again, when we saw that fast third base, immediately I'm like, Ling Flood? Like, that's the thing that telegraphs the most. And even though it wasn't 100% clear, you know, that was in the back of Jeshi's mind. He was able to see the links coming out with his probe. He responded very nicely. Even though he wasn't able to fully wall off in time, his crisis management was really good.
I like how the early third telegraphed to you like that he was going to go for a Link Flood.
I mean,
I saw that now. I was like, he's just going to be too greedy and then die. Well, no, he was going to be the opposite. He was going to be not greedy enough and then die.
Exactly. Oh my god, what a way to start off our series. A quick way as well. We may have a fast night ahead of us. It's
Oh yeah, I think we've spent more time in the actual break because of, you know, technical issues than we did in game.
You're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong.
That's what I love about the Chinese players. They just go from 0 to 11 at the drop of a hat.
Exactly, mate. When you got players like Tam, when you got players like Coffee, you gotta go, mate. You gotta go.
Time's wasting, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We're on a whatchamacallit? Watch.
We are on watch, mate, and we're here to watch and see who makes it through, because Jieshi already has a 1-0 lead. He only needs uno más, one more, to make it out of this elimination match.
And I'm wondering what he's going to pull out to try to secure that, as I notice what map we're loading into.
Ooh, yeah, here we go. The shortest rush distance map in the map pool. Oh god, I don't know what the players are saying, but I do see some poop emojis. And that is not telling you to try and translate. I don't. That's not a good idea.
It's a poop emoji coming on there.
True. Oh god. Silky was complaining about shield batteries.
There we go, yeah.
Makes sense, I guess. Makes sense. Look, this is what happens when you're on a hiatus for like a year and then you come back to the game, you know? Like,
let's forget what the units are. Or I guess in this case the buildings are. I do remember this working out decently well for Silky like a year and a half ago or something like that, but like you said, he has had a very long hiatus. Anyway, we are going to be continuing our series now on Kaliningrad, where, of course, in the bottom right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner, we have our red Zerg player coming on from the land of China. He is a returning player, sort of coming out of retirement, hence he is on the Starving Camel team. SSTO, he is Silky. Not to be confused with Silky.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Berlingrad ESL, we have the Chinese Protoss player himself, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. It is Jieshi. He's gonna block it again. Okay.
I'm kind of.
Oh god.
Silky gonna be taking that unnatural regardless.
Yeah, Jieshi was able to deny the natural here, so a nice start. But yeah, this time Silky going for a much more standard opener here. Hatch, gas pool. Let's that. No Link Flood in sight for the time being.
Yeah, for now anyway, but I do feel like if you're gonna Link Flood on Kaliningrad, you might as well go for a proxy hatch anyway, right? Right.
Nah, yeah, you're not wrong. I agree. 12 pool proxy hatch is a great build on this map, but alas, Silky is not going for it. He is, again, just going for a much more standard opener. I say that, this is another fast third, mate.
Look, he's actually going to drone up this time, I believe.
Right?
Right? That's what you gotta do, right, Silky?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like this. I kind of like this because the probe is gonna rock up and be like, "Hold on, your third is early again. Is this another Link Flood?" And maybe it's some mind games from Silky. Maybe he's trying to force a reaction from Jieshi, and he this time intends to drone up instead.
Yeah, and with the earlier third, you definitely have options available to you. Well, you have those two options, right? Link Flood or drone up. But the fact that Jieshi doesn't know what it's gonna be is gonna be something that keeps him guessing and potentially, hurts his macro as the game continues.
Yeah, I want to believe that Silky plans to drone up just because he hasn't pulled out of gas, so it would be a little bit inefficient to continue mining gas at this point if you intend to make nothing but lings. And as we can see, we only see 4 lings on the way. A little bit of a supply block for Silky, which isn't ideal, but again, it is 4 safety lings. He does intend to play this in a much more standard fashion.
Yeah, spreads to creep around. He builds his queens, and lings will be chasing away the probes.
Oh, exactly. So, yeah, I do appreciate that Silky has adapted here. I would have liked for him to be more aggressive here in map 2. He kind of showed his hand in map 1, so yeah, it's kind of a it's interesting how things have played out.
Yeah, we'll see if Jieshi is able to actually get into what he intended to do on 2,000 atmospheres. Is opening up with an Oracle once again. Probe. Just gonna be keeping its eye out over there.
Yeah, I love it. A little bit of a spotter probe here in the tall grass. Oracle's going out across the map. Jieshi is still playing this safe. He did throw down a blind shield battery at his natural, so just in case Lings rocked up, he will be somewhat ready for it. And now his Oracle can scout across the map.
Just gonna get some drone damage as well. Silky is pretty prepared though. He's got queens. He's gonna have spore crawlers very, very quickly.
Oh yeah. Spores are already finishing up in every single base. The Oracle does nothing, but it does scout and confirm the drone counts, not just at the natural, but at the third base as well. So he knows, okay, again, much more normal game. You are droning.
And then we see what Silky decides to go to do with that droning and that mining potential. Roaches. Again, very standard answer. Very standard composition for ZVP, but one that he has to deal damage with before it stops working.
Yeah, like again, everything's looking like as we would expect from a regular Zerg player here from the side of Silky. He's making another wave of lings, but these lings really are to deal with the adepts, the first initial adepts, or to just try and apply some pressure to this third base. We can see with 3 adepts and an Oracle, this third is not going anywhere. Like it's it's gonna be perfectly fine as, oh my god, Jieshi transitioning into a Twilight Council.
Yeah, Stargate into Glaives isn't something too unusual, but usually when you do get that Stargate and you are planning to go into Glaives, you either go for a Void Ray or just a single Oracle. Jieshi doing a little bit of both, and this is something that Silky is probably not going to anticipate at all. Thankfully though for Silky, he is getting roaches regardless, so...
Yeah, I think what's important is that this Overlord Scout didn't see the Twilight Council, but did see an additional gateway in the main base. So he knows that, okay, we're seeing a transition into ground toss. He saw that a gas had been taken at the natural, so he knows it's not going to be charged. So it's either going to be Blink or Glaives. With 3 gases, I believe that should be Glaives. So Silky has a decent amount of information, confirms the adept count as well.
Yeah, he is more than aware right now as Jieshi starts to push out. Silky definitely gonna have to position his roaches accordingly.
Yeah, I'm worried that he was a little bit too greedy. Like, Silky has droned up a lot, but he's gonna make up for that by fully walling off in the natural. His natural and main base are perfectly fine.
And because of that, Jieshi sees no reason to commit to the Shades whatsoever. He's gonna try his best to contain Silky on these bases for as long as possible, but yeah, it's difficult for him to actually do much hard damage.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Shades, sure, they're checking things. I don't know if he should really commit, especially with all this roaches. Oh, okay. scared me for a moment there. But I also appreciate that Jieshi has respected this, and again, he has been very, very selective about whether or not he commits with these adepts.
Yeah, just trying to drag the attention of Silky as much as possible, but he takes up back at home.
Oh!
That wall is not a wall! And that Shade will end up committing. This is something that's going to haunt Silky for a while. Roach is not too far behind and will be able to eventually clean up these Adepts, but not before they get at least... Oh my god, not before they clear out an entire mineral line. This is more damage than either of them expected Jieshi to get.
Not like this. Yaku, was this wall ever a wall? Like, was the hole always there?
It looked like a wall to me.
Yeah. It looked like a wall for Silky as well, I imagine. Feels bad, man. As you said, Silky was set up to not take any damage at all, but a little bit of a misstep here in his SimCity means he loses a massive amount of workers. Now he's down in the economy, and now he has to maybe even straight up end the game here. He's not droning.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to do that. Jieshi is a little bit behind when it comes to the army supply, but he's got immortals, he's got shield batteries, he's got stasis wards, most importantly, I suppose. We'll see if he's able to hang on. Doesn't have blink yet, so these stalkers are actually having a lot of trouble, kiting away from all this.
Oh, they really are. The immortal gets focused down as well. The Roach Ravager dishing out so much damage, but the oracles come in. The Ravagers are going to get taken down one after the other. The Roaches themselves, though, are breaking through.
Yeah, these oracles doing little more than just tickling these Roaches. Immortal comes out of the robo facility, but it comes out immediately into the swarm of the Roaches. I'm looking at the supply right now, Light, and for Silky, it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's looking pretty damn good here as he takes down 17 of these workers. A Spire was thrown down earlier, and we do see a Muta switch on the way as 4 more Mutas are coming out across the map. And this, he's doing it, despite losing all those workers, he was able to get enough out of them to begin with. And Jieshi just took him a little bit too long to get that blink.
Yeah, now that he does have blink though, can he survive? With shield batteries?
Oh, the second overcharge comes in. Jieshi holds on.
Wow, but the damage has been equalized here. So, yeah, Silky definitely not in a terrible position. He's even getting his 4th base now. Has that slight tech lead with the Spire, but I cannot believe how well Jieshi was able to hold just this and in the previous game.
I mean, it goes to show how far ahead he was in his probe count, that he, despite losing 17 workers, he wasn't that far behind. So it was pretty necessary for Silky to deal that much damage. Otherwise, he would be dead right now. He would not be in this game. So he still is able to maintain that lead. He's getting another base up and running. He has the map control with these mutas, and there's still a lot of potential to deal damage with said mutas.
Yeah, Jieshi taking a little bit of a risk here, trying to expand and get a 4th without Silky noticing, but Silky knows, and Jieshi, I'm not convinced he has enough to defend it. We're at 33 army supply for the Protoss player to 66 for the Zerg player, and this is supply without Roaches as well.
Yeah.
So this is a very efficient use of supply.
It really is. You could argue that maybe Silky is respecting his opponent a little bit too much here. He sees the 4th base and he leaves it alone, despite having a much higher army supply. I think he thinks Jieshi might be in a better position than he is. So because of that, Jeshi's going to be able to crank out a couple more units. Meanwhile, no, the Forge is under threat! Ooh.
And the Stalkers do blink on forward to try to deal with the Mutas, but that is exactly where Silky wants to fight right now. Battery overcharge being popped to try to mitigate that as much as possible, but I'm looking at the Muta Cloud, and honestly it is looking pretty good, but I guess not good enough to overtake a battery overcharge like that.
He was able to 9+2 though. The Forge did die in the end. Nice focus fire there by Silky, gonna keep the upgrades of Jieshi down. And now Jieshi can't really do too much here. He's stuck here at home, has to maintain control of his 4th base, of his 3rd, and is even struggling to keep up with the mutas. Yeah,
Stalkers try to blink on forward, but they are getting picked off one by one. Battery overcharge was utilized earlier on, so it's not going to be helpful at all in this scenario. A couple of Archons to throw in some support, and that's definitely I think is definitely a start here for Jieshi. Behind all of this, his 4th base was able to get up and running.
Yeah, the 4th is up and running. Can he get it up and running, though? Can he mine from it? That's the big question, because Silky is close to maxed out. He has the Muta Cloud, he has Ling Bane. Shortly, I'm sure he's just gonna, F2A move, send his whole army towards his 4th base, and Jieshi is just not set up to defend against it. Even if his army was here, there's not a lot of SimCity to work with.
True, actually. It's up, but is it running?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's running, all these links. Trade on top of this 4th base location. They will delete the mineral line once again, as the 3rd base location being harassed a little bit as well. Ooh. Silky definitely respecting this army a ton, and I don't blame him. The last thing you want to do is to YOLO your Mutas and your Lings and your Banes and the Archons, but Uh, yeah, so you really just gotta appreciate how patient he's being right now. You're taking little leads here and there that will eventually push him over the edge.
Yeah, exactly. It's death by 1,000 cuts. He is pulling Jieshi apart here. They're barely run by. Oh, God. He gets into the middle line. Every single probe is going to be going down. And again, Silky, he never has to fight the main army. He can just keep dancing around.
Yeah, he takes out 60 more probes, and I'm not even sure if I want to look at the units lost tab. Like, I just did. Jieshi lost 63 probes throughout this entire game.
That's almost as many workers as Silky has right now. That's
more workers than I make.
Oh god, exactly. And Silky is just not stopping. Like, there's no reason to stop. I mean, if he really wanted to, he could tech up into Ultras. He could tech up into Hive as well. But again, kind of unnecessary at this point. The mutas, they go uncontested, and the shield batteries and cannons were not rebuilt.
Yeah, I mean, he just couldn't rebuild them at all. He has no army left remaining. Jieshi now pushing out into the middle of the map, trying to force a bit of a base trade. And honestly, I still like his army quite a bit. He just, it depends on how well he's able to engage into all of this. If he's able to get all of his Archon volleys at once, then maybe there's a chance for him. If he's able to nail the Purification Novas, then maybe, but these are very big ifs.
Exactly. Like, Jiexi's army supply isn't too bad, but again, he won't be able to rebuild. Even if he takes a really good fight, Silky, he can just remax. That's the problem right now as we see a full surround. Oh, force fields are pretty good. Oh, God.
They're pretty good at one location, but Silky is engaging in 3 different angles. All of these Banelings will get deleted, but so will the Archons, and so will the Immortals, and the vast majority of these Stalkers. These Purification Nova, but it's like you said, like, Silky can just remax. He's remaxing right now.
Yeah.
He's able to take all of this out. GG's called. Silky will tie up that series sideways 1-1.
GG, well played. Oh my god, we had basically a 360 surround of Banelings there in the end. As you were saying, we had some great force fields towards the north, but towards the east, the west, every other direction, we just Banelings just came in, crashed on in, and that was brutal, mate. That was brutal.
Yeah, that was honestly not how I was anticipating that game to go at all after the initial damage that all of those adepts of Jieshi were able to get. But Silky, he put everything he had into that counterattack. It wasn't enough to win him the game, but it was enough to keep him alive. And from there, he made full use of his second chance at life.
Yeah, I do think that he really was able to punish a bit of an anti-timing there, because you pointed it out, like, that defense for Jieshi would have been so much easier if he had Blink. Blink ended after everything had happened, after that big engagement at the third base. Unfortunately, he didn't really prioritize it after Glaives, and I don't blame him. He was working on other things. He was working on his Forge, he was working on Robo and Immortals, but again, Blink was so essential in that defense, and without it, well, we saw what happened.
Yeah, that's Berlingrad for you.
True.
I think on any other map in the current map pool, Jieshi might have been able to get away with that because he wouldn't be fighting a defensive position without Blink at that point. Well, maybe he would without Blink, but it would finish up a little bit quicker for him. Because of how short the rush distance on Berlingrad was, Silky was just able to get right up into his face long before he was able to finish that upgrade.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And just like that, we go all the way to the ace match, mate. Game number 3. It all comes down to this, and I'm glad that we're getting an ace match between these two players.
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of we need it.
Yeah. Without a doubt. And again, this is... I still am not a big fan of the fact that they're facing each other in an elimination match like this. The one Zerg player and the multi-time finalist. But at least we're getting an ace match out of it. If one of these players has to be eliminated early on, at least they're making most of it.
Exactly. I don't think we would have it any other way. We need an ace match. And we, thankfully, have one. How will this go? Still kind of hard to say here. Again, Jieshi just wasn't ready for that attack, so things kind of crumbled around him for that. The all-in in Game 1 didn't quite work for Silky, so it's kind of hard to say how Game 3 is going to go.
Yeah, well, it is a much larger map. I mean, pretty much the largest map in the current pool. So yeah, that's a little bit of whiplash for you. But regardless, we are going to be continuing our series and concluding our best of 3 elimination match. Once again, I want to really hammer that home. One of these players is going to be eliminated after this. And in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner of Glittering Ashes, we have the blue Protoss player coming down from the land of China. He, of course, is going to be representing his brand new team, Dragon Phoenix Gaming DPG. He is Jieshi.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Glittering Ashes ESL, we have the only Zerg player in the entire DreamHack China main event, representing Team SSLT, the Camels. It is Silky.
What noise do camels make?
Do not make the noise a camel makes. Oh god. But yes, he is the camel. He is hungry for some wins, for some success here in DreamHack. And, I mean, he's pretty close, you know, bringing it back from the brink of death.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to cause death onto his opponent here. Not sure where I was going with that, but we'll see if he's able to get the reverse sweep, is what I should say. So far in the series, he's shown us 2 pretty different styles. One very aggressive opening with a straight up Link Flood. Another more standard game, which was more defensive, but then, you know, led itself into a massive counterattack. And we'll see what version of Silky we get here in game number 3. No matter what, we're not going to be getting any Silky.
We are not, and all I want is that if Silky does go up against Glaive Adepts again, hopefully this time the wall is a wall. That's all I want out of this game, puppy, please. Another interesting tidbit is that once again Silky did go for that 19 supply third hatchery, so every single game so far he has gone for very fast third.
You know, I have to keep our eyes out on the gas mining right now, because it's going to be the indication of whether or not he's going to be aggressive with it or more economic with it.
Exactly. As far as we can tell, it looks as if he does want to be economic. He is droning up, doesn't intend to Link Flood like he did in the first game. But interestingly, it's Jieshi who is kind of switching gears here.
Yeah, no Stargate first to come out of him. Instead, we do see a much earlier Twilight Council. This could mean that he wants to go for Glaive to Depths early on, or could also mean that he wants to go for a Dark Shrine.
Yeah, we have options here. We have options. I mean, I doubt it'll be a Dark Shrine just because we don't have a Robo quite yet. We should be seeing an upgrade here. We do see only 2 mining gases in the main base. Sorry, 2 and 2. So it is going to be Glaives.
One day I would like to see that. By subliminal messaging actually work out.
It's happened before, I'm pretty sure. It's happened before. You have influenced... It's a bad thing, but you have influenced the minds of players in the past.
And I love to see it.
Oh, God. But we see the Overlord dipping on in. Unfortunately, there was no Stalker here to deny the Scout, so Silky sees everything.
Man, he should be able to prepare back at home. Hold on. Silky?
Oh.
Going for the early Baneling Nest instead of a Roach Warren this time.
Oh. Interesting. So Silky sees the gas mining, so he should be aware that it is not charged. Ling Bane, you can defend against Glaive Adepts with Ling Bane. It's just really difficult because you're relying on your Banelings being in position to catch the shade and connect with the juiciest of connections on those Adepts. Without that, it can be really difficult to pull off.
Yeah, and you really don't see too many Protoss players nowadays committing to those shades once they see Banelings in position. And they don't need to commit to the shades either. They can always cancel and try to bait the Lings into them.
Exactly, as the Adepts are going out across the map. I think what's important about this as well from Jieshi is that we do have 4 gateways, but there was no Robo and there was still no War Prism here. So the Adepts that we see across the map are the only Adepts possible here for Jieshi, and behind this he's going to charge. Oh my god.
Yeah, meanwhile, we see Silky with a massive round of links being produced at the moment. Does he just want to go for a straight-on Bane Bust?
I mean, I really like this from Silky, actually. Like, I feel like he's reading the situation really well. He checks into the natural base, confirming, hey, you still don't have any more gases. You do have another upgrade researching here. Obviously, it has to be charged. There's no way it's Blink. And against charge lots, again, Link Bane can be pretty amazing.
Yeah, Link Bane is probably even better against charge lots than World Raptor is. That's because the Zealots have a tendency to charge straight into a lot of these Banelings.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the Adepts are still threatening, but just haven't really found a way in. The Link Bane has been on point with chasing every single one of these shades. The Adepts only clearing out a little bit of creep, dishing out some damage on the base, but nothing too major. +1 melee is on the way. Let's go. Another wave of Lings. Like, Silky, with pure Link Bane, he could make this work.
I honestly think he may. Again, like you were mentioning, it all depends on whether or not he's able to survive this round of this round of charges and adepts. But he should be able to. The wall is not a wall. These links will slip on in, and they're not gonna get too much probe damage, but it does force a bit of a defensive warp in here.
Yeah, exactly. There's no reinforcements here across the map. We do have force fields. Again, force fields are gonna be so important because we don't have any Ravagers.
Oh no! That is not the location that you want to be force fielding at. Already a couple of connections do land on top of these adepts. Silky is just sort of waiting for Jieshi to commit, and he commits some of the adepts, not all of them.
Oh, exactly. Meanwhile, we have more reinforcements running across the map. Again, this is all without a rowboat. This is all without a warp prism, so reinforcements take a long time to get across the map. Oh my god, okay. Ooh, thankfully, he doesn't give into the shade.
Now with that, Silky will be losing his third base and a massive number of drones, but that was a great connection. On top of a lot of the gateway units, Silky will be able to survive this initial wave, but what about the reinforcements?
We got a handful of zealots. We got.
He's gonna be fine. Yeah. Okay, he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, like we have 8 gates in total. Like that's a lot of gateways, but without a reinforcement pylon or a war prism or anything like that, like we just don't have a lot of momentum here for Jieshi. Also, the force fields were lacking quite a bit. Like the Bailey connections were exactly what Silky needed them to be. Silky may lose a second hatchery here. He just lost his third, by the way. But again, he was able to keep the majority, if not all, of his drones alive.
Yeah, now all of a sudden, Silky is going to overtake the map control. He is going to be pushing across the map and trying to see whatever he can get done. Sure, 2 of his hatcheries were taken out, but he's still on 3 base economy, about to be on 4 bases, which is not the most ideal against Jeshi's 4 bases, but it's something. It's keeping him alive again.
Yeah, this is such a weird game. Like, like Jeshi's build was so awkward, but I imagine maybe Silky has played against it before because he has read this so incredibly well. Again, we see another massive wave of Link Bane. It looks like Silky, he wants to engage with the Zealots in the middle of the map. Oh!
Trying to bait them, but Jieshi does not fall for it. Splits his Zealots right at the end there. But the links are a little bit too fast. The Archons, however, hit a little bit too hard. Have a little bit too much splash.
Yeah, exactly. The Archons are the real big game changer here for Jieshi. What's important though is that he only has 2, so even though Archons are ideal against Link Bane, he's going to need more.
Yeah, if they're ever isolated for even a second, it doesn't take too much for Silky to just sort of pounce on them, get a surround, and take them out.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, we have another wave of gateways behind this. Like, Jieshi just keeps rallying. He's playing this like a Terran player. It's crazy. He just keeps rallying across the map. But, oh god, he has to be so careful with how he positions his Archons.
Free pushing is pretty dang good. He did send the Archons forward, which I liked, but that isolates them just a little bit too much. Silky moves in, surrounds them with the links, and takes them out. Banelings crash into the majority of the Zealots.
Yeah, exactly. Very well controlled there by Silky, getting the surrounds with his lings on the Archons. The Banelings only connecting with Zealots. He cleans everything up. But Jieshi just keeps... he just does just rallying Zealots across the map. What is happening?
Yeah, little by little.
It's not gonna work. Or maybe it will, I don't know.
And because he's trading so inefficiently as well, Silky just has never had
where
the
are the Banes?
opportunity to
Where are the Banes?
drone up.
Where are the Banes? The Banes aren't ready, Yaku! They're not ready!
They're gonna get taken out before they can even join this fight, aren't they?
Oh my god, the Banelings all get taken out. The Zealots are trading so well with these things. They're gonna get surrounded a little bit here, but again, these Banelings will not complete. Or will they?
Well, we'll see. Maybe one of them. A couple of them will complete, but they do not get the targets that they need to. Silky is now switching into roaches, but it's far too little, too late. GG is called. Jieshi will take game number 3